Hello, movie fans! Welcome to another episode of Just a Man and His Movies. My name is RJ. If you've come to my channel before, you'll know that this channel is all about recommending and talking about great films. These aren't necessarily movie reviews, but recommendations. So I like to keep my videos short. Let's jump right into it. The movie I'm going to recommend today is from 2011. It's called Drive. Drive stars Ryan Gosling, directed by Nicholas Winding Refn. Nicholas Winding Refn has a very distinct taste. His films require thought, a lot of thought actually. There's a lot of YouTube videos that like to break his movies down, and some of them are great, especially Chris Stuckman. He does a fantastic job of doing that. And there's so much attention to detail. Everything within the frame, how the frame is set up, all the way down to how Ryan Gosling has his hair parted means something, and that means that the director and the writer has really, which is the Nicholas Winding Refn direct and wrote it. He put so much thought, so much care into this, and this movie is really for hardcore movie fans. I'm going to recommend it anyway because it's so entertaining. So really, this film is going to require more than one viewing. Personally, I loved it the first time I saw it, but the second time I saw it, I picked up more. The third time, I picked up more. The fourth time, I picked up. It's one of those things. It's something where every time you see it, you notice something new, and that is a great. To me, any film that does that is a great film. So, one of the things about this film, it's very, very underrated. I think this is one of the most underrated films that I've ever seen, certainly. And I've seen a lot of movies. The reason why was really because of how it was marketed in the trailer. The trailer led you to believe that you were seeing the Fast and the Furious. It showed a car chase. It showed a car going really fast, doing slick moves and all those types of things, which is fine. But that's not what this film is. This is not Heat. This is not Fast and the Furious. This is not an action movie. This is a character-driven movie, driven by the story and really driven by the psychology behind the characters and human nature. So, in my opinion, it's up for interpretation, but that's how I viewed it. So, it stars Ryan Gosling. Ryan Gosling, I think, is in the top 5 of actors in all the world. I think you have Daniel Day-Lewis, you have Ryan Gosling, and several others, but he's at the top of his game in this film. He plays a driver. He doesn't have a name in the film, but he's someone who's detached. He's definitely an introvert, and I don't think he's necessarily looking to change. I think he has a comfortable, easy lifestyle. He works in a garage, which he's good at. He's a getaway driver at night, which he's very good at, and he's also a stunt driver, and he's good at that. So he has an easy lifestyle. He doesn't really see a reason to change that. And what's the number one reason why people change? They meet someone. So he meets Carey Mulligan's character, which is Irene. Carey Mulligan is a fantastic young actress. She does a good job in this film, and really in anything, but this film especially, playing vulnerable. She doesn't have a lot of self-esteem, I don't feel like, and she does a really good job of portraying that, and that's what the character demands. And she's great. So she's a very soft character to the very hard side of the people around her, including her husband. His name is Standard, played by Oscar Isaac. I think Oscar Isaac is, when Star Wars comes out, he's going to be in the top 5 best actors in the world. Oscar Isaac is incredible. Everything I see him in, he's great, and he really brings something more to that role than just the average actor would have brought to it. So no different in this whatsoever. He plays Irene's husband. They also have a little boy together, and he's just getting out of prison. So you can kind of see where the drama is starting to build. I don't give any spoilers on this channel. That's not what this is for. I just want to recommend the film to you. So most of this is in the trailer. So you also have Albert Brooks. Albert Brooks is playing a character who's kind of a crime boss, but he's a gray character. He's not someone who is a mustache twirling, hatching an evil plan kind of guy. I think he even had an article where he said, not everyone is good, not everyone is bad. We all have a little bit of both in us, and it's how you decide to use it. But he is definitely a criminal in the film, so although not the typical bad guy. Ron Perlman, on the other hand, is in this film, and he does kind of play more of that. He's just kind of a bad dude, kind of a sleazeball kind of guy. And Ron Perlman, I mean, he's awesome in everything. Also rounding out the cast is Bryan Cranston. He has a small role in it, but a fantastic role. What I like to imagine is someone reading for this part and thinking, well, there's not much here. But he turns not much here into a really neat, cool role with a lot of depth and a complex character that I don't think was in the script that he did that. So just the cast by itself is worth seeing. So another cast member that's not really considered a cast member, but I think of it as almost a character in the film, is the soundtrack. This soundtrack, you've got to be kidding me. This soundtrack is the best soundtrack I've ever heard. I would say number 2 in my mind is Across the Universe, but that's a musical. This isn't a musical. This soundtrack, it has, I can think of 5 tracks off the top of my head that are almost, they're in your head all the time, and they really whenever they come on screen, they really capture you, and your ears perk up. You're like, that's special. That's something you don't hear in every movie. The way that it's used, and this just the tracks in general are incredible. Kavinsky, College, Electric Youth, and the Chromatics in the very beginning of the movie have a track called Tick of the Clock. And the opening scene with Tick of the Clock playing, what you're witnessing, very special opening scene. It's the second best that I've ever seen. I think Inglourious Bastards, the opening scene to that is the best I've ever seen. But this is number 2. It's great, incredible stuff. So it's all from the perspective of the driver, which I think is just really interesting how he used the camera, and that's a way to tell the story. So anyway, this is a movie I strongly recommend, and it really is a masterpiece. So I strongly recommend this. Definitely an A+, all the way down the board for me. But what I do like to do, 2 things. I like to keep my videos short, but I like to give 3 movies to kind of compare it. Drive kind of sits on its own. There's really no other movie to compare it to, but the closest 3 that I could think of, because it's based in LA, and LA is almost a character. LA really is a character in the film. Number 1 would be Heat from 1995 with Robert De Niro. That's an incredible movie. I give that an A+. The second would be Collateral with Tom Cruise. LA is a central character in that film. I didn't like Collateral as much as some people did. I give Collateral a solid B-, but it's comparable to this film. And the third one I had a hard time coming up with, in a movie I saw fairly recently called Out of the Furnace with Christian Bale, and that has to do with the complexity of the characters, and interesting characters, and Drive definitely has some interesting characters. So those are the 3 that I would compare to the film. Again, Drive, I give it A+. Strongly recommend this movie. Please, if you take my recommendations and you watch this, please tell me what you think in the comments. I'm very curious to know. Once again, temper your expectations. It's not an action film at all. It does have some nice action scenes, though. So Drive, the recommendation for the day. Come back tomorrow, and I will have another film for you. Thank you so much.